Sam Houston is going bowling for the first time in program history. A gutsy, ugly, whatever you want to call it, win over the FIU Panthers in Miami on a Vice night. They brought a boat out onto the field, but I guess that the boat magic wasn't enough. Welcome to the Sam Houston Sports Talk podcast. This is the recap pod for Sam Houston versus FIU. 10-7 win, like I said. Collin Neal here, along with Luke Scott. Luke, before we dive into a new segment we're doing, let's just get our thoughts out of the way really quickly. Just Luke, what did you think of the game tonight? I mean, I'm not going to BS it around tonight. I'm not going to do any monologue or whatever like I usually do. Just go ahead, shoot me straight, man. What'd you think?
That was a sad excuse for a football game, Colin. That's exactly what I think. Watching us hobble and struggle to gain a first down was that. I mean, that looked like last year. I mean, that looked exactly like last year's football team with the defense just standing on their heads all night, making plays, while the offense struggles to, you know, pitch the ball to the left or to the right. I mean, that was bad. But Sam Houston did get the win. Sam Houston is going to a bowl game. We are bowling. Who do you think you are? We are. I am. Sam Houston football. Just glad I was able to part for a ride this year. I mean, this
Yeah,
was that was bad.
yeah. I mean, a win's a win. I mean, just Luke.
Hall,
I
Hall
I
of Fame
just
Hall of Fame picture right now with Isaiah Cash on the boat, driving the boat. Looks like he's driving the boat. So
hold on. I gotta.
captaining the boat, I should say.
I gotta
It's
see
on his
this.
Twitter.
It's on his Twitter.
It's on his
Oh,
Twitter. We can
gosh.
edit that picture in here, right?
I mean, I'll have to give. That's awesome.
Just an all-time Hall of Fame picture.
What a the aura is immaculate. The oh, there's so much aura on that man. Ugh. I love this team, man.
There it is.
That is
There it
so
is.
awesome.
Let me drive the boat. Just an
Uh,
all-time
well, he
photo.
well he in the secondary. Besides the touchdown that besides the receiver getting behind the defense on that one play, the secondary had a great game like they needed to after Western Kentucky. I mean
Colin, they didn't do anything. Colin, the secondary didn't do anything.
come on. I mean it's a good point, I guess. The tackling,
They
Luke.
didn't do it.
The tackling,
They didn't
Luke.
have to do anything.
The tackling, Luke. The tackling is where I'm getting at.
Okay. Okay.
Where else do you want? What else do you want me to say? I mean, well, okay. I mean, the linebacking core, the you could say did really well tonight against the running game. Kavion Gaither with an interception. Trey Fields with another fantastic game. Isaiah Nixon finally getting his first sack of the season. Forgot to mention that in the segment for on the X Spaces, but yeah, it's just but the main topic really is the offense. I mean, the play calling was getting called out constantly on social media. It
On
was
the broadcast, Colin.
yeah, it's yeah, it's I mean, I'm sitting here as a guy that has never coached football outside of flag football in a recreational league that wasn't really that serious. But I mean, the play calling you could say was questionable. I mean, it's just that there's just some things that I just frankly for me as a casual I didn't really understand, but but I'll let you sound off on that, Luke, because I know you have a starch opinion on it.
Yeah, play calling that was awful. That was some of the most mundane, unenthusiastic. No, what is the word? Non-enthusiastic. What is the opposite of enthusiastic, Colin? I'm blanking right now.
Vanilla,
Lackluster calling, vanilla, uh, swing passes, screens.
jet
That was it.
sweeps,
I mean, we didn't. I mean, I think we ran down the field like 3 times, and one of those times, Elijah Stone dropped the ball. So I don't know what it was. That was just no confidence at all. The O line played very meh. I think Ducker had like two good runs, maybe. I think McKinney had like two or three good runs, if that. I mean, it was just very meh. And until the offense looked really bad, until Bauer started keeping the ball on some of those read options where they just kind of read whoever their key is right on the play.
Yeah.
And whenever they started doing that, we were actually able to, uh, get a first down, which was good. But that's really about all we did. I mean, we scored a touchdown because of the defense or the special teams making a play. They're blocking a punt. That's the only reason why we won this football game.
Yeah. Jalen Jimerson with the play of the game with the block punt and returning it to the 4 yard line, and then a few plays later, DJ McKinney running it in from the 1 yard line for the touchdown. Pavon, though, some more kicking woes from him. According to the broadcast, he was battling the flu. We'll have more thoughts on that once in the segment. But just real quick, and another kick out of bounds. It's a bit of a kicker slump right now. It seems like for Pavon, who has been the starting kicker, who was the backup kicker last year, but Sessum's obviously not playing this year. I said that he's probably out for the year because he got taken off the depth chart and he didn't participate at all in training camp. Yeah, just something's got to be. I think Pavon will figure it out. That's all I can really hope for. But for now, it's not looking really good.
No, it's not. I kind of highlighted it in the space, so I don't want to go too much into it. Um, right here just in our intro, but
Yeah.
just not a great performance out of the kicking game here. But the punting looked pretty good. We punted pretty well. So
Yes.
if that's all I can take from that side, all right. Like good job, Jay and Cardell.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and dive straight into the. I don't know really a name for this segment, to be honest with you. I mean, hearing it from the people. I mean, I don't know, but we heard from quite a few people in the X space just a few minutes ago before we recorded this intro. So let's dive straight into that right now here on Sam Houston Sports Talk. If you haven't already, be sure you subscribe today for all the Bearcat talk. And here it is. Let's just go ahead and get started because it is really late. It is 9:49 p.m. Central Time. Just a few minutes ago, guys, Sam Houston pulls off I don't know what kind of game you would call it, but gutsy, ugly, interesting, whatever you want to call it. A win is a win. Sam Houston beats FIU 10-7 to become bowl eligible for the first time in program history. Luke, I kind of want to hear your thoughts first before we hear from the folks. What an interesting game. I mean, it's just inexcusably awesome football. There is what we call it, and but you got the job done at the end of the day, and in large part thanks to the defense. I mean, they played a hell of a game tonight.
They did. They really stepped it up from last week, and we kind of gave them a rough time coming into this one, especially with the performance right against Western Kentucky. But they did really well. It also kind of helps that FIU was on their fourth string quarterback coming into tonight after like the first quarter or kind of just whenever Jenkins went out. He was 1 for 9 with the pick, so that was really bad. This was like out of the MAC, man. This was a tough game to watch. It's good for Tuesday night football though. 10-7. Coming out of this bowl eligible, that's the best thing you can take away from this, and you turn your page to next week. That's pretty much all you can do. But gritty win, gritty effort there. I think the refs did not want to see that game go to overtime. So even though they were two holding calls, they were both holdings. But just glad we got the win.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to air out your thoughts about the game, feel free to request to speak. We'll go do it on a first come first serve basis. Yeah, this. I mean, I'm just sitting there like, honestly, I swear that the halftime with all the commercial breaks and such, it felt like it took longer than the first half. I mean, that first half was just gone before you know it, and it was 0-0.
Colin, Jace Bauer almost has as many rushing yards as passing yards. 72 to 76. I mean, that's special right there.
Granted, he did have a couple of good drives. I mean, but at the end of the day, guys, and this is my play of the game. Jalen Jimerson's blocked punt really flipped the page. I mean, in a way, it did. Um, this year, you haven't really seen the Bearcats be that aggressive on punts when they're on the defensive side of things, and they just sent the house. And it paid off. No penalty. It was a clean block. No questions asked. And then um, a few plays later, DJ McKinney punched it in for the 1 yard touchdown. And well, you got it, man. You know it is what it is. We got our first speaker coming in, Josh. What's on your mind? What did you feel about the game tonight?
Hey man, it was a rough watch from start to finish, but a win is a win. We are bowl eligible. This is what I waited for. I went to every game of that 0-8 start, but guess what? We're going to the bowl. You will see me at Bahamas when we play some 6-6 MAC team, baby. Hang the banner. We run CUSA. See you next week.
Love it. Love it. I'm waiting to go to the Bahamas too. That's where I want to go. It's something different, something unique, and it's after the New Year's, so you're kind of in that fun window in the new year.
Yeah, it's
Don't forget blackout 29th. Everyone blackout. Be at Bowers, Pag Bowers. You know what it is. We run CUSA. We're gonna beat LA Tech 7-2. That's all.
Speaking of La Tech, they are up 14-10 with just about 6.5 minutes left to go in Ruston. That's another heck of a game that's going on. Again, the Bearcats are going to be facing the Bulldogs next week. Like Josh said, is blackout on October 29th. It is going to be on ESPNU. The Bearcats beat them last year on Senior Day in Ruston. Sarge, you are up next.
Colin,
Or hold
rough
on.
night for the Conference USA
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. The Conference USA has had a couple of rough nights, to be fair. But Sarge, you are up next. What's on your mind?
I remember when we hired Coach Corn, the Virginia Tech fans were just jumping all over the post. And I wonder about that. You see good play calling from him when Hunter's in there, and then when Bauer has come in the fourth quarter in other games, the play calling was still good, but it seems like he was too conservative, too limited in the playbook to let Bauer shine because Bauer has essentially a similar skill set as Watson, just not maybe as fast and not as dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, Luke, I kind of want you to hone in on this point because you're the one that made that point about about Bauer. You told me that Bauer is a good runner, but he's not Watson at the end of the day.
He's not. Colin, it felt like every time he had the ball in his hands, he wanted to dump it off to whoever was in the backfield. I mean, it was the entire first half. He was dumping it off to either Ducker or McKinney, and it was just that was painful to watch. I'm glad he finally decided to start running the ball there in the second half, and that really kind of sparked the offense all the way to 10 points tonight. But yeah, I completely agree. The play calling has been really awful for the past 6 quarters or so, and I don't know if it's just handicapped with having the backup quarterback in or not. No excuses though. This has not been a great last few quarters for Coach Corn.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, it also doesn't help when Christian Pavon missed two early field goals. He was able to make up for it in a way. I mean, it's a 20-yard chip shot. To be fair, it is easy. You're expected to make that as a Division I kicker, but I'm kind of hoping that's the kick that he needed to like get back on his feet. I mean, sometimes you just gotta get something through to just get your confidence back up, no matter how ugly it is. The broadcast did say that he was battling a flu heading into this game, so maybe it had something to do with it. And he
Are,
was
are we are we in any way concerned about this kicking game, Colin? I mean, from a 1 out of 10, I'm kind of feeling that like a 6 or a 7 right now.
I'm about there as well, but I'm not that I'm not like all the way up to a 10 at the moment. I mean, Pavon had a great start to the year. I mean, his first field goal of the year was a 52-yarder. He can kick, he can make those field goals. It's just right now I think it's just a kicking slump. I mean, I don't know how else you want me to say it. For those that were commenting about Colby Sessoms, it is fair to say that he is most likely out for the year because he was on the depth chart to begin the year, but then he was taken off and he did not participate at all in in training camp. But up next now is going to be the real Mr. Worldwide himself. It is Beer Nuts. Beer Nuts, thank you for joining us as always.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Mr. Worldwide. I have to disagree with you, Colin, on the kicking game. I think it's, well, maybe a five, and three and a half of that goes to the punter. He did a nice job tonight. The field goal kicking. Oh, and I know it's a backup kicker. I get it. But you're a D1 school now. You got to be able to recruit somebody that can make uh, make some field goals for you. Last week getting blocked, and then this week missing two should have been easy field goals from that distance for these guys. But yeah, what a bad game to watch. It was like watching paint dry. It was a challenge, but we got through it. As you said, we're bowl eligible. That's what matters. And I don't know if I'm going to the Bahamas. Mr. Worldwide might skip the Bahamas, but maybe not. We'll see if we land there. But hey, a win's a win. We'll take them. You can't argue with that. The defense I thought played great tonight. Put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, which is what you got to do with the freshman in there for FIU. So I thought the defense played really well. Secondary covered pretty well. We didn't tackle as good as I thought we should, but other than that, defense defense definitely kept us in the game, and the block punt was huge. So as you said, hey, I appreciate the time. We'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you, Beer Nuts, for joining in. Yeah, I mean, the game led off with a Kavion Gaither interception, his fourth of his career. I thought that right after that, oh, this is going to be nice, hopefully easy going, at least for that first quarter, but didn't end up scoring any points, and we all know what happened after that. Scroggins' biggest fan. It is almost your season, my man. But I mean, we're 2 weeks away. But what's going on with your mind this evening? What do you think about the win here tonight?
Oh wow! This was the hardest game I've ever watched. My anxiety was on a high alert all game. Uh, it made me yearn for the 2 weeks to pass so tip off can start and we blow out Nevada. Hopefully, that's where I stand right now.
Yeah, basketball season's almost around the corner. But
It's
um,
all I think about.
it's well, your profile picture is still has been King Scroggins for as long as I've known that your account has existed. So, so.
Hey, I got to stay true to the methods.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was. I mean, but to your point, it was a really, it was it was tough to watch it. I mean, of course, I'm gonna watch it through and through. I mean, I sat through and watched all these other bad games that went down over these past few weeks, not just in Conference USA, but also in the Sun Belt, the MAC. I mean, that's what the MAC was known for. Really, was just their thing with how crazy the offensive games are, and it's just like Conference USA is not going to take on that mantle, but it just feels like it. It is what it is. I mean, I'm lost for words about the game. I really don't know what else to say.
Colin, that's all you can say. This was pure Mac without the bad weather, empty stadiums, just poor performances throughout the game. Yet some team finds a way to win and of course it's off a blocked punt. That's just how those things kind of work out.
Yeah, it's but like I said though, Jalen Jamerson has my play of the game tonight. I mean, without that block punt, we're probably looking at a
Yeah.
back-to-back loss and having to wait another week for bowl eligibility. Um,
Colin, the thing about it though is that off that interception there when Gaither picked it, and actually Bauer threw a really good ball there to Sohn, and Sohn just dropped it.
yeah,
If he catches that, hopefully we score there. That puts us up 7. If you don't miss a field goal, that's 10, 17. And then the 10 points that we scored, so it could easily have been a 20-4 nothing type game there at a time. Instead, it was 7. And those two. Well, actually, it was just one possession, but having that penalty, the FIU committed that pass interference, gave us 2 first downs there, in goal, and couldn't score. That was that was awful. But hey, win's a win.
yeah. Another
Uh,
go ahead.
Don't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to say bye. I have to
Oh,
go.
oh, you're all good, man. You have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you.
And
Thank
kind
you.
of, and
Bye.
kind of, and kind of a thing with him, guys. Basketball seasons are right around the corner, so I can't wait. We all can't wait for that. It's a great time of year, honestly, Luke, when college football and college basketball mend together. What do you say about that?
Colin, it gets me fired up. Usually, this is actually the time whenever the NFL is really getting kicked off. NBA is just starts up. Hockey's going, college basketball is going. They need to bring back the 24 hours of college basketball. They need to bring that back. But I am excited. It's a loaded slate, especially in the first few weeks. A lot of teams, a lot of big ranked matchups. Sam Houston playing in some big games. I'm fired up for it.
Absolutely, Cats on top. Who by the way has definitely redeemed himself. If y'all don't remember, we Luke and I sort of kind of clowned him for being lacking on the burner side of things, but he has really stepped up his game. I gotta say, man, if we hadn't mentioned it before, good job on the burner side of things. But what is on your mind after this win tonight? Cats on top. You're up, and he is gone. Wow. Did I say something wrong, or is his internet? Is it?
He must have been having technical difficulties.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm sure he'll be back.
Well, let's see. Let's try this one more time. Let me wait for him to get Let me wait for him to be as a speaker on my side of things. I approved of him. Cats on top. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I had a little Wi-Fi problem.
Oh, you're all good, man. What's on your mind after the game tonight?
It was an ugly win, but we did have our backup quarterback. Honestly, I don't even really care because we're 6-2 and we're going bowling in our second year FBS, so I'm happy.
I mean, yeah, that pretty much sums up, I think, how a lot of people are feeling. Another thing to kind of note with it's just that again, I'm calling with the defense again. I mean, I honestly don't think, or no, not the defense. Excuse me, Jaden Cardell. He has been sneakingly a very big key to this team, especially against UTEP. Western Kentucky, he did pretty good, but he did a good job once again tonight, especially when he had a punt out of the end zone, and he didn't give FIU good field position. I just want to take a minute real quick to shout out Jaden Cardell, who's been a very big piece. I mean, the field goal kicking obviously just not where we all hope it to be, but when it comes to punting, honestly, that's saved us quite a few times.
Colin, talking about the punt game, we got to stop running into Ife Adei. My God, it was
Yeah.
one time he actually got leveled pretty good. The next time he got ran into there. Both friendly fire. We got to be better on special teams in that way. But yes, Jaden Cardell is my player of the game this tonight. I mean, it's bad when the punter is your best player, kind of feels like the Cowboys when the kicker's been our best player. Yep, Jaden Cardell's our best player tonight.
Uh, that sounded like pain coming from you, Luke, talking about the Cowboys over there.
Nothing but pain.
Cats on top. You got anything else to say? The floor is still yours.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was this game specifically, but I felt like offensive play calling was especially bad this game. Felt like we were watching our offense from last year.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It was raining. It was raining as well. I mean, I guess you can kind of factor into that. Maybe the passing game wasn't going to
Come
be
on,
too much.
Colin. Come on, Colin. Don't
Hey,
blame it on the rain.
I'm not blaming it on the rain. I'm just pointing that out, Luke. It's a fact.
I'm
Drizzle.
just saying, we didn't
It
really
was,
throw the ball downfield very much.
yeah,
And I feel like we could have taken advantage of that a lot more.
it's the OC not trusting the quarterback is what that is.
Yeah, it's hey, you know what? It's bright side of it all. Like I said, defense won us this game and won us honestly. Like they stepped up big. Caleb Weaver, he really had a good game. Cash as well. I mean the secondary. Besides that wide receiver, the FIU wide receiver, I can't remember his name. I think it was Rivers. You know, getting behind the secondary, they were able to, you know, they were able to shake that off and hold it down. Because I'm not gonna lie, guys, when it was 4th and 19, it was deja vu from last year. I'm not gonna lie.
It was shades. It was. I literally was saying at the same time, man, it's going to turn into 4th and 19 right here, and it almost. I mean, it was deja vu, but thankfully it didn't turn out the way it happened last year.
Yeah, the D line as well. The line, I mean, the front seven had a really good night as well, or the front six, technically speaking. I thought Trey Fields had another good game. He's been kind of quiet. I think Gaither again had a really good game. Quincy Wright, the Oregon State transfer, he got ever since Matthew Rubisala went down, he's had a couple of big plays ever since he started getting more playing time. I thought he did pretty good tonight. He had a big tackle earlier on in the game to force a punt for, against FIU. But guys, but Luke, just to kind of now segue, since I know some people want to head on over to sleep. If you want to speak, feel free to request. We'll get in a few more. But now looking ahead to Louisiana Tech, Luke, honestly, what are your honest opinions, honest thoughts a week from now as Sam Houston looks to try to continue to at least build off of this win with the hopes that Hunter Watson and Noah Smith come back next week?
Yeah, we're playing against another trash team. I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. They're barely beating UTEP at home. Um, I'm kind of looking at the stats right now. The quarterback has thrown for 248 yards, but they only have had 8 rushing yards today. So, you know, you just kind of hope we come back healthy, and I think we'll be in good shape. But La Tech seems to be really bad too. That being said, we scored 10 points tonight, so I don't really know. It's just glad to be bowl eligible, and it's never bad when the Cats win.
Do you think possibly that you know? Do you think possibly that was just kind of a hump on their backs a little bit, just getting to that 6th win, especially since after last year happened?
Um, I don't think so, and the reason why I say that, if it was more towards the end of the year, I mean, if we were 5-4 or even like 5-5, 5-6, and it was like that, I would say definitely yes. But the way that we've been able to win a lot of games, especially early in the season, I think you kind of understood that this kind of type of game was coming. With the backup quarterback and all. Um, I don't think the hump was necessarily there. Maybe a little bit mentally, but I think talent wise, not not really. I mean, it feels like we have a pretty talented team. Um, when you compare it to the conference, but I don't buy into that much. Um, Now, if that was Hunter Watson playing, and we could barely move the ball, I would buy a little bit more stock into that, but I would say no.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's just after the bye week, something fell off. Especially, I mean, the first half against Western Kentucky was close, but then it seems like after that, I don't know. I don't know why I think that, but it's just like, man, I think the team for some reason I feel like, man, if we could just get to that 6th win, just knock that out of the way, and then boom, we have the rest of the year ahead of us. It's like now you don't have to think about being 1 win away from bowl eligibility. It's like kind of like a distraction. I don't really know how else to put it, really, to be honest with you.
So Colin, looking forward into these next 4 games here coming up, Louisiana Tech, Kennesaw, Jack State, and Liberty. What record do you take, um, overall wise into
Uh,
these last 4?
ja- Kennesaw State is a game that the Bearcats should win. Um, Louisiana Tech, the Bearcats should win. So that's 2 wins. It's just, of course, the Jack State and Liberty. Jack State, I have a hard time evaluating because they faced Middle Tennessee and Kennesaw State. Liberty, I don't care what anybody says. I still think Liberty's gonna be the team to beat. Um, with Caden Salter, with Quentin Cooley, and they got a decent wide receiver in Sibley, in my opinion. I I mean, people will say 2-2 is fine, but I think we can still beat Jack State and Liberty on 2-2 at minimum, 4-0. I see we can. I think they can still go 4-0 because of the unpredictability in Conference USA. It's hard to tell. No. What do you think?
Okay. I'm thinking 2-2. I just kind of seen how the way Jacksonville State has played down the stretch, and granted, it has been against Kennesaw and then New Mexico State and Southern Miss. Southern Miss might actually be. I know every week in the podcast I always say whoever the worst team is like some other team, some different team every week. Southern Miss actually might be the worst team in college football. Kennesaw is bad. New Mexico State's really bad. Um, they've smashed everyone they've played since they lost to Eastern Michigan, who's really bad too. So I have no idea what to read on Jacksonville State, and Liberty's Liberty, right? They found a way to win games every week. So I think it feels like a 2-2 or a 3-1 in some sort of fashion.
Yeah, I agree. Um, yeah, I agree in a lot what you just said. It's Jack State's kind of that wild card team in my opinion for the rest of the main schedule. If no one else, anybody else want to try to get in their thoughts real quick before we sign off on this space. We had some good traffic here on this evening. Thank y'all for contributing. Like I posted earlier, this is going to be a segment that's going to be posted on our preview pod. It's kind of a little experiment, or not preview pod, excuse me, recap pod. It's a little experiment I want to try to do with our recap pods, just to hear y'all's thoughts and all that good stuff. But it looks like no one else is going to hop on in and request to speak, so Luke, I guess that'll do it for this segment of the recap pod. Once again, guys, be sure y'all subscribe, and like I said before, we are going to have a special guest on our pod right after this recap pod. You can probably throw some guesses around on who it is, but I'll say that I am pretty excited to get this out. We interviewed the special guest on Thursday, and then we'll get it out on Friday morning or somewhere around there. But stay tuned for that, and of course, like I said, subscribe today and follow us on all of our socials, and especially Twitter/X. We passed 660 followers. Thank y'all for that as well. Luke, if you don't have anything more to say, let's cap off this Twitter space. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's evening. Sam Houston is going bowling. And as always, eat 'em up, cats.
Eat 'em up, cats.
That was our segment where we listened to the people and what their thoughts are on the game. And pretty much it's pretty much the opinions that they said is pretty much how we're feeling tonight, Luke. I mean, a lot of bad things, just a lot to work on heading into the final four games of the season. But at the end of the day, a win's a win, and this win is not equal to the other ones. You are bowl eligible. You are going bowling.
It's it's one of the um, most ugly wins, yet one of the biggest wins in program history at the same time, Colin, in a way. Because yeah, you're right. You're cementing this as your defining moment to getting into a bowl game, which is a big deal for a lot of mid-major and low-major teams, right? In college football, and for us to be able to do it, especially after last year and so many heartbreaking losses, overtimes, um, home and away. I mean, it was so many, and to turn around to this year, I know everyone kind of feels kind of down right now, even though we won. Hey, that's a bowl game, and you'll take it, and um, it's a huge bounce back from last year. And I remember previewing this season. I told you, Colin, these games that were one score games last year, those might turn for us. We lost all those games, right? It felt like, those might turn for us, and it feels like this year those one score games have kind of turned back for us. You kind of see it with the Minnesota Vikings in the NFL, Colin, right now, to put it on a perspective. In the professional ranks, last year they couldn't buy um, a one score win, and this year they're gutting out every single game. It feels like, outside of this past one against the Lions, of course, but it's just kind of one of those games where you're happy about winning. You're just not really in much. There's not much enthusiasm with how you won.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, last year was rough. It's something as a person that is passionate about sports that I will always, in a way, I always hold dear because I was there to experience it all. And now to sit here and seeing now this team be bowl eligible, going bowling. I don't know about you, Luke. Right now, how I'm feeling, which is why I probably am spewing a bit of a BS here and there on this recap pod. I feel mixed emotions because we watched this game, but at the same time, I am just happy to see where this program is now and being bowl eligible. We still got four more games to play. Sam Houston, believe it or not, Luke, they're still in contention for the Conference USA championship. I mean, some things have to go their way, but for now, I'm more than happy to just take in this win as much as I can for tonight and for tomorrow, and then focus on La Tech. Um, it's kind of really my final thoughts on it.
You enjoy it tonight. Um, you're happy about the result, but this is no result to really, put on the pedestal
No.
and say, yeah, that's how we want to win football games. That is not how you want to look. If you do that against Louisiana Tech, you'll probably lose just because they're not on their four-string quarterback. If you play like that offensively against Kennesaw, you might have some issues. And if you play like that against Jacksonville State or Liberty, you're going to get blown out the water. So this is kind of one of those games I think you just bury the tape
Yeah.
and you move on offensively and you say, okay, we know we did a lot of wrong, a lot of misassignments, a lot of miscues. Backup quarterback wins a win. You'll take it, bury the tape, move on.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it for us on this podcast. Like I said before, be sure you subscribe if you haven't already. We're at 181 as we are currently recording. We are slowly marching our way to 200 subscribers. Once again, thank you to everyone that has subscribed and follow us on all of our social media platforms. We started this all the way back in June, Luke, and I mean, look where we are now. Honestly, I couldn't have imagined us being where we are right now. I mean, just not just the subscriber count, but just where athletics has gone this year. It's taken some good leaps. I mean, tonight's tonight, but at the end of the day, I am happy to be covering this team as they are bowl eligible for the first time in program history.
Super excited about that, though. Yes, Colin. Um, bowl eligible bowling. It's a big accomplishment, but this team isn't over yet. You know, hopefully you get healthy coming up here pretty soon with Watson, with Noah Smith. There's just a few key guys throughout the team, and hopefully you can pick back up, where you left off before the bye week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that'll do it for us. I'm Collin Neal. That was Luke Scott saying so long for now. Once again, keep an eye out for this Friday, folks. We got a special guest coming, a special pod this Friday. He's excited. I'm excited. Stay tuned, folks. Have a great rest of your night. Enjoy the win. The Bearcats are going bowling. Eat 'em up, cats. Have a great rest of your night and or day.
Eat 'em up, cats.